For all you Groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you.
Hey guys, this is the FANA Fan Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Topliss, and for all you Groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. And we are delighted to be back at last for season 3. It's been a long time coming, but here we go again. Before we introduce our guest tonight, a few notices, and that is Matchday's Joe will be joining us as a co-host for the foreseeable, so expect to see him on the podcast. And we are kicking off season 3 in style tonight, as we are joined by West Brom fan and award-winning YouTube groundhopper, Will Burford. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm really excited for tonight's episode. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you, mate. Thank you for coming. Great to see you at Solihull the other week.
Yeah, that was a good game. Really good to experience the Stockport County fans as well. But yeah, always great seeing a familiar face at the footy.
Absolutely.
So like I said, Will, once again, thank you for coming on and congratulations on the award-winning. I'm sure we'll start off with that. So how does it feel, especially at such a young age, to get the award?
Yeah, it was a really good experience, to be honest. Obviously, going down to London at such a young age, obviously I got a day off school as well, which was a massive bonus. It was a really professional award ceremony. I got to meet some really famous guys like the likes of Thogden, some guys from Arsenal Fan TV, some really big names. And, the experience was just enough for me, but to go there and also win an award and obviously get interviewed by some people afterwards, it just made me feel really special and really proud that night.
Well, like you said, you mentioned some big names there, Arsenal Fan TV, Fogden, Fogdad as well. I mean, yeah, love that guy. Probably one of the people I would have loved to have on this podcast as well. He just seems so down to earth. But as we see, you're a Baggie, you're a West Brom fan. So what is your background in football?
Well, I really got into football probably from my parents. I started going to the Albion from a very young age, going to various different games. First one that I really sort of remember was beating Liverpool 3-0 on the first game of the season. So, yeah. I started playing football from a young age as well. I always used to go to, a gym at my local school and play on a Friday night with all the local kids. I really enjoyed that. And I played in a team up until about 10 years old. Really enjoyed it. And more recently, I originally got into non-league football as I got a season ticket for Tamworth, a free one, because obviously I used to play for a local side and we used to train at the Lamb, home to Tamworth Football Club. And that's when I really started getting into non-league football. And from then on, I love going to the Baggies. I'm a season ticket holder and I love visiting various grounds, groundhopping around the Midlands.
And how many great grounds are around the Midlands? Hey, Ben, you've got a lot to come for when you start going down there, mate. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's sort of one of them. I've done the big ones. I've done the West Brom, the Kieran Dowell goal. What we won 1-0. The promotion season.
Right. Yeah, I was at that game as well.
Yeah. We were just down there last week in the FA Cup when we lost to Wolves. I've done Villa plenty of times. Never actually seen us lose at Villa. So I've done Walsall. I've done sort of the league grounds. Like I said, I've not touched any non-league grounds in that area as of yet. Hopefully soon.
That's what I was referring to. The non-league grounds.
Yeah.
Haven't the Sutton Coldfield yet, mate.
I know. Well, just from your blog and stuff, it does seem like there's quite a few in that area. What's good to go to?
Mate, Lie Town as well. Honestly, well, you will not be disappointed. Not to mention
Town.
Solihull Moors.
Yeah. Is there any non-league sides in around your area? What you sort of check the results? You're a bit of a fan of?
Yeah, there's a few. Obviously, I was speaking about them before the podcast started. Walsall Wood is probably my most local side. I've been there a few times this season, and I know a few of the guys from down there, and I quite regularly check their scores. I always do check to see how they're getting on. most recently, I went to Hales Owen Town, and I was really impressed with them. So I think I'll be keeping a close eye on them in the future. But yeah, I follow them all on Twitter and check most of the results each weekend. So, but yeah, Walsall Wood, the team I probably follow the most.
That team that broke my heart with Shirebrook Town that year, all those years ago. Last year, a sixth form on a school night, honestly. I'll expand on the story a lot more, hopefully, next week when Joe comes down.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, we were probably one of the best games I've ever seen at Shirebrook Town, ever. Out of the 100 times I've been there in the FA Vars, to get a replay at 3-3 after extra time, to go down there on a school night and have me on.
Yeah. Was that the same ground as they still play at, do you think? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm hoping it looks a lot different than what it looked like back then. And I'm hoping the pitch is in better condition.
By the KFC.
But at the same time, I can't sit here and slate the club. They're all the FA Vars. They always seem to do really well at. So fair play to the club.
Yeah, it was interesting this year because they was going on quite a good run, and then they actually got through, and I don't know if they sort of got kicked out because they fielded a player that shouldn't have been playing. Obviously, got a red card in the previous game, which was a massive shame because I think they had a good tie in the next round somewhere down south. So big shame.
Oh dear. I think if I remember correctly, I think that year they beat Shirebrook. They went on to the quarterfinals. I think it was them that went to Guernsey. I think they went to Guernsey and they went away. I think that was when they lost. And I think Guernsey at the time had just formed and they had like 2,000 fans every game. I don't know if they get that now, but I think back then Guernsey were formed. I think that was when they lost in the quarterfinal.
Wow. So, I mean, they got to the semis quite recently as well, didn't they?
Yes, I heard. Yeah, it's their competition, the FA Vars. So I think, the FA Vars title also would always be a tasty affair.
Definitely.
But another one, I've got to mention, you said to me at Solihull, Hales Owen Town is a must.
Oh, definitely. I went there the other day and the atmosphere there is incredible.
Yeah. It's also one of the Mike Bailey's 100 grounds to visit in the UK as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
So the ground's nice as well, I'm guessing.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's got a nice bit of character about it.
Yeah. Fab.
So when it comes to Groundhopping then, what is it you like the most about Groundhopping? What got you into it?
Well, what got me into it was I didn't really start Groundhopping until about last year, really. I started getting into non-league football a bit more. Obviously, I couldn't go to the Albion. So I originally started off by following Tamworth. I went to a few of their home games, and then I went to watch them away from home against Alvechurch as well. And that really got me into it. It really got me. Well, I really enjoyed my day at Alvechurch. I enjoyed visiting a new ground. And from then on, I sort of visited a new ground each week. And yeah, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the unpredictableness about visiting non-league grounds and groundhopping. I like, with a lot of non-league grounds, you go there and you don't really know what to expect. When I visit non-league grounds, so all grounds are different, all grounds are unique, but it's about setting, facilities, what the pitch is like, how good of a condition the pitch is in, and also the atmosphere. The fans, are they making some noise? A bit like Jake does with his blog, assesses various different things, and that's what I look out for when I ground hop.
Perfect. So, like you said, one of the things you notice with non-league is it is full of volunteers. So it's always nice to be sort of felt welcome into it especially when you go to a new ground, because there is the odd occasion where you don't. And there's been quite a few teams where Groundhoppers have said, "Oh well, they didn't feel welcome here, there," and sort of felt like they didn't want them to be there. They felt like they were pushed away. But then when you think about it, without Groundhoppers, some of these grounds wouldn't get the attendance to do, especially like this season we have the NCEL Groundhop weekends coming up quite soon. Some of the teams there, the attendance is just going to skyrocket because of what it is. So it is good to, in my opinion, to try and make all fans welcome. Whether or not you're not a fan, you're just there as a groundhopper.
100%, yeah. It is always nice, and again, I don't want to keep talking about Walsall Wood, but that's what I like about the club. It's not a big club, but everyone there, the manager and all the volunteers are so welcoming, and that's another thing that I like to assess when I go to a ground.
So, like we've discussed already, there's quite a few grounds in the Midlands area, non-league and in league football. But what would you sort of say the best ground is in your area? I'm sure you might be biased and say the Hawthorns, but
as biased as you like, mate. Don't worry. Be as biased as you like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
This will be interesting, this, by the way.
I can't lie. I'm going to get the Hawthorns out of the way. That is obviously going to be my favourite ground. But again, in terms of pure setting and a really beautiful setting, you can't beat Belper Town. When I visited them, I thought it's just with the church in the background, all the hills. It's just incredible, and I really enjoyed my day there. In terms of non-league facilities, AFC Telford, that's probably got to be the best non-league ground I've visited for facilities. In terms of probably football league grounds, then when I went to the Emirates away with West Brom, wasn't a great day for the Baggies. We lost 1-0, but I was really impressed with the Emirates. It's a really nice modern ground. It's a shame because they had some nice comfy foam seats, but I never got to sit in them because all the Baggies fans were standing up. But yeah, the Emirates is probably the best ground I've visited away from home. And also the Coventry Building Society Arena as well. I went there this season away with the Baggies, and the home fans, it was a decent atmosphere from the home fans. They made quite a bit of noise.
Yeah, well, some great grounds in there. Emirates again, I agree. I was lucky enough to visit it just before we shot into lockdown. I've only been there once, but yeah, a great experience. And I mean, there's probably quite a lot of character what's been lost in regards to the hybrid ground, but it is really modern. And like I said, we were quite close to the home fans where we were stood as well. So the band, what you got with it, it's just a great experience. And when we was there as well, they have like a little, because it's a bit like a circle, the ground. They have markings outside. I don't know if you saw it when you were there, Will, and people run around it, and that's how they do their sort of jogging. And you can measure, oh well, if you go from this point to this point, you've done sort of like half a mile and stuff. So there's quite a lot of people sort of jogging around when we was there as well.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about the Emirates though is, especially when I was there, the food wasn't great. I had a sausage roll and it broke in my hand. Wasn't impressed with that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, to be fair, I'm sure the prices wasn't the best as well, being in London. But yeah, I again, that's another thing I agree with. One of the things I've managed to do this season to try and get some of my friends to come along as well. Why don't you, if as well as the football, why don't you try something in the local area? So we've sort of looked at footy scran as well. We're trying to get some ideas where to go just from the footy scran. When we went to Molyneux the other week, we saw it was the masala chips, I think it was, from outside the ground in the little fan zone. So we had to try them. So footy scran at the moment. Big shout out to them because it's making me want to go to some grounds just to try it.
Yeah, well, I watched. I'm not sure if you're aware of Ellis from Away Days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I watched his recent video at Bristol City, and the concourse looks amazing, and the amount of variety of food they had that they were selling looks incredible. So if you're looking for a good place to buy some food at the footy, Bristol City is definitely a suggestion.
Yeah.
I've not said it to people, but out of the 92, the next ground I want to do is Bristol City, because I just the outside of the ground looks good, the inside of the ground looks good since it's been done up. And when I watched the video as well, I saw that concourse. I thought, really?
Yeah,
it looks beautiful.
Last time I went to Bristol City, they didn't have to stand behind the goal. It was just getting built. So yeah. I do believe we play them soon. So if you want to come watching United, you can try and sort something out. But you might not get the concourse.
I'm hoping to go to Bristol City away with the Albion this season. So hopefully I'll get there. Decent atmosphere there, it looks as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember watching Fusion Josh's video when they played Swansea. Both sets of fans were incredible that day. I'm sure I'd probably give them 10 out of 10, probably, because both of them were crass. But I think I might hold out for next season when they do play a Welsh team again, Swansea or Cardiff, if Cardiff stay up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the only reason I reacted like that to the grounds you mentioned there is because Belper Town is right at the top of my list. Like, I really want to go there. And after I saw Joe's video the other week,
I might have to go there again, because I didn't actually see Belper Town play. I saw Belper United. So I might have to go. It's an excuse to go back and watch Belper Town in action.
It'd be good to do one of them in the daytime and one of them in the night time, and then judge them, really.
Yeah.
So you don't get the views at night, do you?
While we're touching on the grounds, then, is there any grounds you'd like to visit, what you've not been to?
The one that really stands out for me is Ibrox Rangers, because my dad's a big Rangers fan. I'm quite like Rangers, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos, and the atmosphere there looks absolutely incredible. The passion from the fans, and it's also a really nice old school ground as well. The outside of it looks good, and I just think it would be a really interesting day to go, a day out
against Celtic, of course.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
both the grounds do look incredible, but I do believe Rangers is top of the list more than the others. One of the things I got as a Christmas present this year was a scratch map. So I've got an English scratch map and a Scotland one, because I've said for quite a long time I've not visited any grounds in Scotland, and I kind of want to now try it. I want to try and get to as many different countries and see different grounds as possible. So we've got a trip coming to Venice in March, where we're hoping, touch wood, that we get to go to the game when Venezia plays Sampdoria. But I also want to kind of get this scratch map going and completing it basically before the new one comes out. So is any teams maybe in Scotland what you'd like to go to, apart from the sort of the two big ones in Glasgow?
It's interesting you say that. I can't say there's one that I have in my mind, but I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of lower league Scottish teams create a decent bit of atmosphere. I think I've seen County Hearts on YouTube. They've got a good section of youth who make a bit of noise for them. And yeah, it's an interesting place. I'd like to do a bit of. I'd like to see a bit of the non-league football as well.
Yeah.
What about yourselves? Have you?
I've not experienced it. Like I said, I do want to try and get it soon, but we do have sort of like a little group chat we have, and there's some of the lads were constantly going up to Scotland and putting the pictures in, and there's some very picturesque grounds in there, especially the higher up Scotland you go. So
yeah,
it's just which one to tick off first, and then we'll go from there. But I do want to go there as soon as possible. I don't know about you, Jake.
John O'Groats FC, I'm on my way. Come on. but no, I mean, the Scottish fan bases that you see are absolutely incredible. I'm hoping to do a Scottish and Welsh ground this season. I'm sure the Welsh want to be Newport County next month with Mansfield, but in Scotland, I've always kept an eye on it. There are some picturesque grounds out there. I saw in the Mike Bailey's book as well. Arbroath was one of them. That one's quite a popular one for Groundhoppers.
Is that the team that played Hearts yesterday? Or
it might have been. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But Arbroath's one. Inverness, Caledonian Thistle's another one as well. And Joe's been telling me about somebody who can sort us out an Aberdeen ticket one day. So there's another one for us as well. But Scotland, definitely, I want to get there sometime. I can remember listening to a podcast the other night from Dan, the footballers, and that is what I want. And he had a few people on from Queen of the South.
Yeah.
So there's one that could be done. Not too far past the border either. Not too far from Carlisle, that area. So there's another one definitely on the list. But yeah, Scotland.
I think you'd be welcomed at Scottish clubs as well. They would like, especially the non-league clubs, they would be really interested to see English fans come in and to watch them play.
Yeah.
But going back to best grounds, I'll be kicking myself if I don't mention this. I can't believe I didn't mention it a minute ago. The Santiago Bernabeu. That was a present for my 10th birthday, and that was an incredible experience. I went to watch Real Madrid versus Valencia, and Ronaldo
game as well.
Yeah. Ronaldo missed a penalty, but he also scored in my corner and did obviously his signature celebration. So some ground. I'd like to go there again. I think they've done a bit of renovations there. So
something to the roof, I believe. Yeah, they were playing quite a few games at their training ground last season when it was behind closed doors. I think that's where they could get the renovations done on the new ground.
Yeah, by Liverpool in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think I was watching the against Barcelona last year, and they was playing in the training ground, which again looks a pretty nice ground for a training ground.
It get into our league too. It get into our league too easily.
Yeah,
those sort of grounds. I think Real Madrid B play there. Again, another team to see.
Well, pardon me. It's one of them as well, especially the big. Because I mean, I know you've been this season, Jake, when you went to see Manchester City women's team, but the stadium they have there for the youth set up at Manchester City, that's good enough to be a League Two side. I mean, was it 7,000 seater?
Yeah, it's got 2 terraces behind each goal.
Yeah.
Only little, but again, it's enough.
Yeah. It's bigger than probably bigger than some of the grounds what are in League Two. And
I mean, Burton Albion is League One, only holds 6,000, I think. So
and there's quite a few youth setups what's happening now. I mean, Manchester United, they play is it Leigh Sports Village. That's not a bad ground. So
it's another football league ground that if they want it to be.
Yeah. Am I right in saying there's quite a lot of rugby what's played there though as well?
Yeah, Leigh Centurions play there as well.
Yeah.
But you hear the story of Salford City, they're moving grounds to another rugby ground just outside the Trafford Centre next season.
I didn't know about that, actually.
Yeah, there's another reason to go back.
I'll have to get Salford done.
Great for us that they've put Salford City as Mansfield's last away game of the season. So I'll have to wait for both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the AJ Bell Stadium next to the Trafford Centre, where Sale Sharks, I believe, play. They'll be home to Salford City as of next season. 12,000 capacity.
Well, it's been interesting to watch how they've progressed as a club, really.
Yeah. I mean, now you could argue they are an established League Two side.
Yeah.
The fan base is still pretty small, though, isn't it? I mean, Wellstone Raider, he'd have a field day, wouldn't he, watching them away from home?
Yeah. It is one of them, though, and it is. A lot of people don't like it because of who's in charge and how they got there. you can see obviously the amount of money what's being pumped into it just to get him up the leagues. But they've sustained it now, and what's to say they might not get higher in seasons to come.
Yep.
Well, I think it's just football, isn't it? You see it at the highest level and the lowest level. Money brings you success sometimes, and
yeah, that is true. Especially if you spend it wisely and as well, and get a squad from it, not a team full of individuals.
Yeah, that's important as well.
Definitely. I mean, you could argue now with Ronaldo coming back to Man U and the big egos. There's always rumours that he's falling out with somebody. So even though he's a fantastic player, the best, if not the best, if not one of the best in the world, he's going to have that debate. But if you're going to settle aside, sometimes do you think, is it worth having him? But when you're scoring goals and you can contribute to a team, it is a tough one.
I think he just overall brings a lot of money to the club as well. You know, shirt sales,
definitely,
tickets,
yeah.
Tourists, everyone wants to come watch him play. So,
yeah, and I completely agree. I'm the same. It's like one of the reasons now I want to go to PSG. Hopefully this season, if we can get into France with all the restrictions, it's just to go and see Messi play again. I've seen Ronaldo play a few times, but I've not seen Messi play live. So that is one thing I'd regret if I don't see him. Well, while we're on that topic as well, who would you say the best player you've seen live is?
I would say it's difficult to look past Cristiano Ronaldo. I personally think he's the best player in the world and one of the greatest ever players. But if I was to have a look at it, maybe past him, maybe someone like Sergio Aguero, maybe, or Steven Gerrard. I mean, I've been lucky enough to see some great players play. How about yourselves?
I'll agree with Sergio Aguero. I'm not so much about that guy what likes to dive for Liverpool.
Hey,
we're not getting
Luis Suarez. Yeah, it was a bit of a cheat, wasn't it?
Kevin De Bruyne. And the reason I say that is in the Premier League season, but every time we played Man U, I think the worst we lost for Manchester City, the worst we lost was a 2-0. We never got beat by him, but it always seemed to be Kevin De Bruyne with that pinpoint pass the right moment just to get that assist for him to go on to score. And he's just incredible to watch. He can create chances from nothing really, and some of the balls what he can swing in, I just think is arguably one of the best players I've seen. I have seen Ronaldo live, but I've also seen Ronaldo miss an open net at Bramall Lane, so I'll hold my hands up and say I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think. What about you, Jake?
It's got to be Steven Gerrard for me, honestly. The guy's incredible. No bias. But I've obviously seen some incredible performances in games over the years. I can remember I was there at Sheffield United when Andy Weimann scored a hat-trick for Bristol City when they lost 3-2. You know, stuff like that. You know, I've seen some incredible performances over the years as well. But as a player, I've got to say Gerrard. What a guy.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He is a captain, and you can tell. Even when you go back to, there's pictures of him smiling at the Everton fans, you know, he's got one over on him.
Yeah.
And it's still there for him, isn't it? He's still Liverpool through and through, even though he's been away from the club for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It's not left him, has it?
No. They'll be back there one day as manager, certainly.
I definitely think so as well. But I have to say, the best left foot I've ever seen has got to be Chris Brunt.
Yeah, absolute wand.
Yeah, It's a shame he played for other half at Sheffield, but yeah, he was a great player. He's probably one of the few players what I did probably like what I've played for them. But yeah, I mean, some of the goals what he scored as well, especially for you, some crackers. So yeah, I do agree with that one.
Definitely my favourite ever player.
Mine retired quite a long time ago. Chris Morgan. He's my favourite Sheffield United all-time player. It's currently Chris Basham. Give the man a contract. You know, he's only got 6 months left or whatever on it. Give him a new one. But overall, John Terry, he's mine.
Wow.
Well, do you know, it might surprise you. I know I've mentioned Steven Gerrard to you. Obviously, I love the man to bits, but the one player that I really, really did love, the one player I loved when I first got into football, was Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I remember watching Brazil World Cup in 2002. Michael Owen was my favourite. Honestly, I love the man. And him, along with Steven Gerrard, was the reason why I've always supported Liverpool as a kid. You know, fantastic player. Why I wanted to be a striker because of Michael Owen. I love the man. And absolutely gutted that he signed for Man United later on in his career. No, but I was more heartbroken when he signed for Newcastle, to be honest, because I wanted him back. Would have loved it. But hey ho. Yeah. I just remember when he scored against Brazil. Oh man, what a moment.
Yeah, I mean, he was a fantastic player. It was just the injuries towards the end of his career what did it. I mean,
yeah.
Was it his his ankle he did?
I think it's his ACL against Sweden in the group stage for England in 2000. He fell funny and did his ACL in. I don't think he broke his foot that season. And he just managed to get himself fit in time. And I think, he said it himself, his family's got a history of silly muscular injuries, unfortunately. So it's just one of them, really. But even to the end of his career, he always scored goals, whoever he played for.
Yeah.
So you can never take that away from him. It's just a shame that he's a terrible commentator.
and another striker what I liked, especially growing up as a kid, he's just left Rangers, and that was Jermaine Defoe. What an overall. If he's 1-on-1 with a keeper, he's the player you'd expect to be finishing it 9 times out of 10. Incredible player.
Definitely.
Right, so I know we've gone a bit into the league football, but if we go back to the non-league, is there any sort of fan bases or you've enjoyed from the non-league sides?
There's 2 that stand out for me. Colville Town's definitely one. Their home atmosphere was really good when I went there. I think winning 6-1 that day probably helped it, but they have their own shed end, which make quite a bit of noise. And again, we've mentioned them before, but Hales Owen Town, that I went there the other day, and their fans were incredible. They didn't stop throughout the whole game, and I've seen them away from home against Chase Town as well. Really good fans. And also Stourbridge, I saw them away. And they had a drummer as well. So
Alton Town, I remember that video very well.
Yeah, Alton Town.
That's what I mentioned it to you as well. If you've read my blogs, you know who the Mary Miller is. I can remember you filming. There's a part where you film the players walk out, and there's a little lad with his camera just at the other side.
Oh,
sure, that's what I'm talking about.
Really?
Hopkinson, if you're watching. Yeah, it was on there. I'm like, hey, there he is. That was the game he went to, because I know he went to Carlton Town once, and that was the game, yeah. So you got him on camera. But, I watched that video. Stourbridge brought a drum. They were fantastic, weren't they? And they seem to have a lot of midweek games in Birmingham. So I'll get my car keys ready for when that time comes again.
Well, I think they're playing away at Hensford this Tuesday, which I'm slightly interested in going to. But with Albion playing on Wednesday, I might have to give it a miss. But that should be a good game.
Yeah.
What about experience then, what's the best and the worst you've experienced? We'll say any football here, but it could be anything as well.
Is this in terms of match day experience or fan?
Yeah. Match day or fans? Anything involving going to a football match?
Well, I think I really liked Derby County when I went there. I thought their match day experience was really good, and the home atmosphere was really impressive. Man United's always special when you go to Old Trafford. Obviously, 70,000 people, the theatre of dreams, all the home fans singing "Glory, Glory, Man United." It's a special place to visit. In terms of non-league, who am I going to go for? I don't want to keep saying the same clubs, so Tamworth play some nice tunes before their games, and it's a nice little ground. But yeah, how about yourself? Is there any real special ones?
Well, for non-league, FC United Manchester. I mean, they're one. I'd love to see your take on it. Joe's been there. I'd like to see your take on that ground. I think that'd be one for you to do, definitely for your channel.
Well,
I'll go to say, as a Liverpool fan, by the way, what a club! Another Man United base, but what a club! They have some funny chants. Fantastic.
That's the one non-league ground I want to visit. FC United Manchester. Yeah,
lovely ground as well.
I think I've seen. Has Joe been there before? I think I've seen one of his videos. It looks really good. Yeah.
I mean, he went there on the day they got relegated, and the atmosphere was still class. That's what it means. You know what I mean? I mean, if you put that lot in the Stretford end, Man United have got the best atmosphere in England. That's my opinion, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Another. Well, I want to touch on there. Obviously, you went to Hellzone the other week. I saw that video. They played Stamford. Now, Joe went to Stamford. I think the day before I saw you at Solihull, and their fan base looked class. So we're going to ask, what was their fan base any good at Hellzone, or were they drowned out?
They brought a few, but it wasn't a great performance from their team on the day, to be fair. But they made a little bit of noise. Yeah.
So I mean, there's another one for you.
I think I did watch Joe's video, but I didn't really put the two together that was Stamford when I went to watch Hales Owen. But now you say that, that looks a nice ground as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, Ilkeston's got another good fan base. I mean, I thought they were class that day. I went a group of teenagers, really big group. They were fantastic, giving it large. They're another good fan base. I've got to mention it on here, but still my favourite video with Joe, Brighouse Town. Not just because of how the game went, but a group of lads, about 10 of them, absolutely fantastic, and only a few of them. It's not going to drown out the ground with their noise, but it's the effort and thought that counts, isn't it? So
Scunthorpe looks good when you went there as well.
Oh, Scunthorpe, fantastic! It's such a shame that where they are compared to where they have been over the last couple of years. But yeah, there was a lot of them, and even at bottom of the league, they're still getting the pyros. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
One atmosphere or fan base I'm surprised you didn't actually go for was the Denby. The Denby main we went to. Yeah.
Well, if you let me finish, Ben. Honestly, Denby Main for County Senior Division 1, not even Premier. I mean, I don't know if they're there every single weekend, because apparently I heard on that day there was a group of lads from Manchester, and obviously we couldn't go to football league grounds at the time. But I know there were a few Donny Rovers fans in there, because they were singing about every South Yorkshire club. We hate you, Barnsley. We do. Oh, Rotherham, we hate you. You know, that sort of thing. But they did let a pyre off when they scored. You know what I mean? So there is that. But Denby Main. I hope that those boys go every week, because they were incredible. They were, for sure. I mean, there's so many out there that have got fan bases. I mean,
it's one of them. I don't know about the away fans, but Worksop Town have quite a good following for their home games.
I'd say they're better at home than away. After seeing at Rossington Main the other night, I think they're a great home fan base, definitely. So I'm trying to think that non-league, with a good atmosphere too.
I saw Chester fans away at Telford.
Yeah. York City as well, another one. York City they're a sleeping giant. They shouldn't be in this league. They should be in the Football League. They're that sort of club.
Darlington.
Darlow as well, yeah. Fantastic. It's such a shame that it's come to what it is. But there's so many big clubs down there. Sleeping giants. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to look at national...
Not non-league with an atmosphere. I mean, I would obviously love to mention Shirebrook Town, but that group's dissipated, unfortunately. But back in its heyday, that would have been one, definitely.
I think one that is really sad, in my opinion, is Nuneaton Borough. When I went there earlier on in the season, it was really flat there. And I know they're not a massive club, but they have been in the past a decent sized club, and they're having a poor season this season. And yeah,
I'll to see what Kiz's takes would be on that one.
They looked pretty stable when we saw him in pre-season against Newquay, but obviously they are bottom league and they have been National League level at one point, which again is quite sad to see.
That's the thing with some teams, is once they get into a downfall, it can't stop, and you've seen it with quite a few. I mean, you look at Retford United now; they was in a better position than what they are at the minute. It looks like they've got a chance of getting promotion, but is that because of the money they've invested? Because it's Mansfield Town's owner what owns them as well, right?
Yeah.
So
John Redford and Caroline. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
have either of you been to Banbury United?
Banbury. I looked at getting tickets for the FA Cup game against Barrow, but I couldn't get any, so I haven't yet. But they look like they're running away with the league this season.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been there, but I think that's definitely a club I'd quite like to visit.
Yeah, it's not one what I've been to yet, but touching on that, the next new ground I go to will be the 150 landmark, which slowed down a bit, but that's what happens when you're now watching United.
Can I can remember I first met you, I was well behind you in grounds.
You was.
You're 150, and I'm on 180. Tell you what's happened, don't you?
Yeah.
I had to throw it in there, sorry.
Yeah, but it's one of them with the new job and stuff. It's just so hard. But coaching football myself, I mean, you've experienced it with me.
Yeah.
When you're finishing at 8, unless there's a game what's really, really local to you, what you can just get to, it's tough.
Unless there's floodlights just over there, you ain't got a chance, have you?
Yeah.
Did you how many games did you do last season, Jake? Because I saw on Twitter, was it over 100?
On my calendar year for 2021, it was 114 games in 114 different grounds. So wow. I'm looking to beat that feat this year.
Well, I mean, for a year that was interrupted with COVID, that is very impressive.
Yeah, how much would it have been otherwise? We'll never know, will we? But I mean, especially now, a qualified driver with a car as well. That'll obviously take off a little bit more. But yeah,
they have to road, guys. They have to roads.
Yeah, get on the roads, pedestrians. But I've been to Field Mill in ages. No wonder they call me a Tin Pot fan. What was BBC Radio Nottingham thinking getting me on when there's other loyalties out there?
Yeah.
But I'm going to introduce a new question for us, starting season 3. But start with Will. What is the best stand you've seen at a ground?
Best stand,
would you say? And again, be as biased as you like. We don't mind it.
The Smethwick end or the Brummie Road at the Hawthorns. But no, best stand. when I went to Real Madrid, they had a massive group of ultras, which I thought were really cool, all wearing white T-shirts and had massive flags at the start of the game. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few shed ends in the non-league football. Yeah. Not really too sure other than that. Trying to think. Go on.
I think I've got
one, and I might come back to that one.
Well, whilst I've got mine at the top of my head, I'll go for it, and I'm going to go for Philadelphia Union's ground. So they've got a stand, and behind it you've got just a bridge. So it's so picturesque. You've got the bridge in the background. You got the stand with the ultras in, and as a neutral, it is probably one of the best I've seen. And in regards to the 3 MLS games I went to, it's the best. So that's mine, Philadelphia Unions. I don't know what the stand is called, but that's the one.
I mean, I picked out 3 stands that I really liked and we travelled so far. One of them really local to you, Will, Lytown. It's nothing too special. I don't know if you've been to Lytown, but that stand behind the goal, that looping roof, that's just a standing area. But you don't see looping roofs anyway. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, that's what I loved about it, because it's so unique. The other one is Alfreton Town, behind that far goal. That was really nice. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Alfreton's ground, but I did like that stand. An awful lot. I thought that was class. And then the third one was Exeter City, behind the goal, which I think out of the 3 is probably my favourite, just because it's a dying breed, especially in the Football League. I think that one behind the goal, the standing terrace, I think it's fantastic. So I'll probably say those 3.
I think going back to it, that one at Redditch is quite interesting.
Yes.
On the side. That
very similar to Alfreton Town's one, that one behind the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say the away when you go to Newcastle away, I went there with West Brom. I was second to back row, and I think it's about half a mile from the centre circle. You're that high up.
That, I think it's 3/4 of a mile to the goal line at the opposite end. 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
Just while I've got you as well, I'm going to share the screen. So this is what it sort of looks like, what we're trying to get at. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. So that's the bridge in the background. These are the ultras here. So something like that. But I think it's just a great place. And
where did you say that was? Philadelphia?
Yeah, Philadelphia Unions. So being there twice now, and probably the team what I'd say is now my MLS team from it. I just think it's a cracking, incredible stadium.
What was football like out there? With the fans passionate? What was the atmosphere like and the attitude towards it?
Different is the best way to describe it. So
we've all heard this story.
if you go for the generic English away day or English football match, it's get up, you go for a drink, you go to the pub. Whereas this one is you get up, you tailgate with a barbecue in car park, and then you go to the ground, and then someone comes and fetches you a drink of candy floss. They don't like to do in cartoons where they sell candy floss. There's always them coming round. But the atmosphere is, well, I got near enough kicked out of Philadelphia Union's ground for celebrating next to the New York City fans. And supposedly I was going too hard in my celebrations that didn't like it. So it's different. It's the atmosphere is completely different. It's more like a party atmosphere with the drumming and stuff. The chants are awful. There was once, pardon me, Philadelphia Unions, the announcer was reading Chicago Fire's team out, and all you could hear was sucks. Bastian Schweinsteiger sucks, and you're like, oh, wow. But I do think the football is getting better each season. I mean, you can look at some of the players what are now playing in the MLS. I mean, even now, you've got the Higuain brothers playing for Inter Miami. Phil Neville's a manager out there, so it's still gets the big names season in, season out. So I just think it's just going to get better.
But something that always grabs my interest is Australian football as well. Especially in, I think, Sydney and Melbourne, the fans out there are really passionate. And I've seen, documentaries about the Sydney Derby and Western Sydney Wanderers versus, I think, Sydney FC. And the atmosphere looks incredible. And I think that would be a really interesting journey and adventure to go on, to watch a bit of Australian football.
Yeah.
And I think while you're out there, you'd have to go watch some cricket as well.
Well, after we're done in Ashes, we never do well down under, but some of the batting performances in this series has been awful. But yeah, it's got to be great. You've just got to try and get into the country, haven't you?
Maybe not watch England out there.
No.
Well, it wouldn't last very long anyway.
I can remember I had my prom in Nottingham in sixth form. I remember we were at the Park Plaza Hotel, that poshest hotels in Nottingham, in the summer 2013. I can remember one of the lads went downstairs, just on lift, to go fetch something. And as he walking out the door, the Australian cricket team were walking in.
Oh,
we were on the 8th floor. And he was a cricket fan. And he went, good day. Yeah, all right, mate. Honestly, great players walked in. They were staying in the hotel as we were having our prom. Because they played the first test was at Trent Bridge that year. And they got back upstairs. Right, did. And he said to the other massive cricket fan, mate, Australian players are staying here. Honestly, his face was a picture when he told him that. Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if people know this about me, but cricket is probably arguably my favourite sport. I play a lot of cricket to quite a decent standard, and yeah, I really do like the cricket. I'm not sure how much you guys know about cricket, but one of my favourite sporting days ever was day 4, Headingley in 2019, the Ashes. Ben Stokes tore the Aussie bowlers apart to win us the game. That was absolutely incredible. And it links in with atmospheres as well. That the atmosphere inside that ground that day was insane.
Wow. Yeah, I've always heard that. I've heard that some of the cricket atmospheres is great. I know Yorkshire sometimes plays in Scarborough, and the tickets sell out within minutes. It's that popular. They always the White Rose and the Red Rose derby. That's always a big one. Even though Yorkshire's been on some end of some losses with them recently.
Well, the interesting fact for you, especially, is Bramall Lane used to be a Test cricket venue.
Yeah, well, Bramall Lane.
And with Bill Mill as well, by the way.
Yeah, Bramall Lane is the only stadium to hold an English cricket game and an English international football game. There's
wow.
Why are you telling me that before I did the blog?
Well, I wasn't there to see the cricket. I was there to watch the football. That can be for your rewrite when you come and revisit us again, and it gets 40 out of 40. Yeah. Hopefully not for a few seasons. So, last question then before we ask you to sum up Groundhopping. Who would you say is the best derby or the best sort of fan rivals like I said, we've had Derby, Forest. What was on yesterday? There's quite a few Midlands derbies. Got the big derbies, Liverpool, Everton, if you want to call it. What would you say is the most fierce one in what you'd like to go and watch?
I couldn't really look past Rangers versus Celtic. I think I suppose a lot of people probably say that, to be honest.
Yeah.
That it just looks incredible. The passion both teams have, the hatred towards each team's. It's incredible. I think I'm not a huge fan of it, but I always keep my eye on it. Is the second City derby, Birmingham City versus Aston Villa. That's another good derby, a proper football derby. I've never actually experienced a West Brom versus Wolves derby, because other than last year when fans weren't allowed to go to the grounds, we haven't played each other for a very long time. We seem to always escape each other whenever we go, they go down, vice versa. But it'd have to be Rangers versus Celtic. I'm not sure how many people probably say that on the podcast, but
not Boca Juniors versus River Plate.
There's a few in the in Europe. The Prague derby, which
yes,
incredible, and
Belgrade.
Yeah, the Belgrade derby, and few. I think again, looking back at the Away Days YouTube channel, I think he went to somewhere in Romania earlier on this season. Can't remember.
Bucharest.
I think that was
Stour versus somebody. I think, is it Rapid Bucharest? Have they got a team? I think that might be them. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. But I would almost be a bit scared to go to a game like that. It's with all the ultras.
Yeah,
but it'd be an incredible experience.
100%.
Definitely. It's like you said, though, it's just one of them. You wouldn't know what to expect. You wouldn't know what to do, especially if you don't know the area and the surroundings. Knowing your look, you'd be walking down road and it's where they all meet or something, or congregate. But like I said, there's some fierce derbies. I agree with the Rangers and Celtic one. I would love to be I wouldn't even care which ground it's at. I'd just love to be there because.
Well, I mean, Sheffield United versus Sheffield Wednesday, I suppose, is always interesting. Sunderland versus Newcastle.
Yeah. 2
proper derbies.
Yeah.
Not Mansfield, Chesterfield.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, I think it's all part of derby days, though. You very rarely go to a big rivalry game and not witness a fantastic atmosphere, and they're all different in different ways. They're all unique.
Yeah.
But I'd say the one that I want to go to, because I haven't been to one yet, is a West Brom versus Wolves game. That definitely be top of my list.
Yeah. Well, if we get promoted again this season,
hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it might be a playoff spot at the minute. But
I'm not sure how well we would do against the Wolves at the moment. We always seem to pull a result out the bag against them.
Yeah, you've just got to man-mark the Mr. Baby Oil or whatever he puts on him at half-time and full at start of games, Adama Traore. Well, when we went the other day, and the sun was gleaming and he was just shining because he's just got that much whatever gets rubbed on him before. I can understand why, because it makes it tough to grab him, but it was just so super shiny. All the reflections on him.
He stands out enough. Anyway, he's so big.
Yeah. Well, it's built like an American footballer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So the last question we asked this for everyone: if you could sum up football in 3 words, so that could be literally just 3 words, different words or a sentence, what would it be?
An enjoyable, unpredictable adventure.
That's a good one. It's a good one to start.
It's another different one that we've not had before as well. So fantastic.
What we'll do as well is we'll link your YouTube channel.
Can I just ask one last question before we finish as well? Obviously, you started the YouTube channel a few years ago now, I believe.
Yeah, May 2020. 2020, yeah, I think.
May 2020. You've already won an award for, was it Best Lower League Content 2021?
Yeah, Best Non-League Content Creator.
Yep. Where next for the YouTube channel?
I think it's all about just enjoying it. Keep trying to grow the channel and keep being successful. But the main thing is, I think, as long as I keep enjoying myself, you know, I think the day I stop enjoying myself, the day recording football matches ruins my experience, that's when I think it will be time to give it up. But I've achieved YouTube, something I'm really proud of. I've achieved so much so far. Raising money for Blood Cancer UK at the start of my YouTube journey to winning an award. It's just incredible, and hopefully more success to come.
And hopefully it does continue and you keep working for it.
So you never, ever get annoyed and frustrated at filming at football grounds?
No.
It never comes. It's certainly done you really well. It's done us, the viewers, even more pleasure as well.
Yeah.
And it's all about creating great memories as well.
Yes. It's somewhere to put your memories as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, like we said, we'll put it in the description below. So if anyone hasn't subscribed, does watch our channel, hopefully they do go and do it, because there's some fantastic content over there. If you need any predictions when you do plays at Bramall Lane, I'm happy to give you a little prediction for your video. Just message me and I'll do it for you if you want, mate.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Right.
Is that that's I think that's a midweek game, so
it will be.
Yeah, I won't be going to that one, but a shame.
Yeah. There's always next season. well, maybe not next season, but you know.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. I enjoyed it.
I've really enjoyed it, guys. Thank you very much for letting me come on today.
No, thank you for joining us, mate. We've kicked off season 3 in style, and hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that they will link up next week at Walsall Wood, along with Joe. I'll make sure I'll get him on the phone in a minute. Like, come on, we're doing this, so I'm gonna absolutely. So yeah, roll it on.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.